Hollywood or Watson rest of season. We're talking rest of season, and unfortunately Christian Watson is on bye this week, right? So you're not starting him. And the way I see it is there are two very important games that you have to keep in mind. The first game is the game you're playing this week and the championship week. Because you want to prepare yourself for this week. You need to win this week, unless of course you're guaranteed a bye and blah blah blah. But not a lot of teams are in that scenario. So Christian Watson, obviously you're benching him during the bye week. You're not starting him. You're playing Hollywood Brown this week. But where does Hollywood Brown rank? Right now, he's the wide receiver consensus 23 against New England on Monday night. He did finish as the wide receiver 52 in his first game back against the Chargers. He went 6 for 46, but he had 8 targets, which is really, really interesting to me because DeAndre Hopkins only had 6 targets in that game. So he out-targeted DeAndre Hopkins. Rondell Moore may be back, but Hollywood plays on the outside. If anything, the Rondell Moore situation, as I mentioned earlier in the live stream, I am more concerned about Rondell Moore and his health as a start-sit decision rather than is Rondell Moore going to get the amount of targets, because I think Kyler Murray has enough pass volume to get the ball to Hopkins and Hollywood and Rondell Moore. Greg Dortch is a strict handcuff to Rondell Moore. So that's how I would view those players moving forward. And then week 17, the Arizona Cardinals get Atlanta. They get the Atlanta Falcons, which is a smash matchup. It's in a dome, which is also really nice. And then Christian Watson gets the Vikings, right? And that game is in Green Bay. It could be cold. It could be tough, right? Can Christian Watson go off? Absolutely. He's been crushing this year. Let's not make two bones about it. Like, Christian Watson has been making plays time and again. He could score from anywhere on the field. He's got 4.36 speed, 96th percentile, 98th percentile speed score, 95th percentile burst score is the reason why he was the 34th overall pick in the draft. I was skeptical of him this year because he got off to a slow start and he had been injured, but a 25% target rate when he's been on the field is really, really nice. Yes, it's only a 13% target share, but he's increased his route participation this season. He has 9 touchdowns on the year. He's 11th among wide receivers in yards per reception, 13th in yards per target, 14th in yards per route run. He's got the highest target premium in the NFL among wide receivers, 92.2%. Fantasy points per route run, he's wide receiver 1. Fantasy points per target, he's wide receiver 1 overall. So Christian Watson has a tremendous upside, but I still like the Hollywood matchup. We're noticing and monitoring this moving forward. And if we'll see how the Packers are looking as well. They might start Jordan Love if they're out of it, and Aaron Rodgers is hurt week 17 or is still recovering from his injuries. They might shut him down if they're eliminated from playoff contention. So that might also be a consideration. Rest of season, I think the safest play is Hollywood Brown, but Christian Watson offers you league winning upside, as we've seen from the fantasy points per target and fantasy points per route run that he's put up on the season. He's also number 1 in fantasy points per target versus man coverage, 3.3. 3 is the highest among wide receivers. As I said, his ceiling is absolutely massive. But this is a situation I'm monitoring. If I'm calling it right now, I think it's still Hollywood over Watson, but it would not surprise me. I think there's just too wide of a range of outcomes for Christian Watson looking at week 17.